What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwan, and I am back with Soul Food Season 1, Episode 14. Nice work if you can get it. Before I start, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video. Make sure y'all like the videos so I can stay in the algorithm, and make sure you guys are hyping the videos, okay? Listen, I have been monetized, so now I am in the hype feature. Okay? Shout out to us, all right? What else I wanted to say? I think that's really all I got. I need a better light, okay? But y'all already know somebody on this show manages to piss me off. Okay? Bird and Terry has pissed me off in this episode. In episode 15, nobody ain't really pissed me off. Okay, but we'll get there. So episode 14, Max kind of once again was the big, y'all know I've been on Max ass. But I'm not so much. Okay, she been doing her big one. I also wanted to say that there are 20 episodes, so we still got like a few more. We got like 5 more episodes to go before we get into season 2. And again, once the new season start, I'll just take a full break, and on the day I have to review, I'll review both shows, because it'll be like 2 weeks worth of shows or whatever. I'll do the first 2 episodes, drop the first 2 episodes, and then you guys will get them weekly. That way I won't be behind. Also this week, Beauty in Black starts tomorrow. I will be live on my channel along with Mrs. Best. She will be on her channel. We will be live together. So that will be the only my Beauty in Black reviews will be live. Reasonable Doubt comes back October 6th. Those reviews will be live. They will be live. What else we got? Next Gen NYC. I still have a couple episodes to catch up. I'm trying to catch them up by the end of the week. I always say that, but then I end up working or I'm doing content. So yeah, but I'm working on it. I am working on that. Okay. I appreciate y'all. I am still trying to get to 1K. Shout out to all the new subscribers. I hope y'all like my channel. You know, just if you're looking around and you need to find a nice hood adjacent place to go to. Okay. Now that your girl has got monetized, this is hood adjacent. We moving up like the Jeffersons. Okay. Anyway, I am getting myself back on track, and I'm going to start doing the videos like I used to. So when an episode airs, if I can, some days I'll drop an episode of a video of a review. And if I can't get it that night, I'll get it the next day. But it just depends. So I'm still getting my schedule together. So y'all, I appreciate y'all working with me. Okay, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Anyway, now that I wasted 3 minutes of y'all time, I've switched. Oh, Lord. We can go ahead and jump right on it. So, we see Damon and Terry. They're playing chess at his house. He get a knock on the door, and it's his brother. I think it was, I forgot the brother's name. And he came to visit from Harvard. Was it Cambridge? Harvard? I think it was Harvard. His parents didn't know he was in town, so of course something has happened with the brother, but we'll figure that out. Bird goes over to the grocery store to visit grimy ass Lester Hardy, and they still think he has cancer, but he does not, because nothing is wrong with his raggedy tailed self. Okay? He's just an evil old man, and his just due will come. Well, lo and behold, it came in this episode, because it was 2 dudes in the store and they were drinking the drinks before they even paid for it. So he got really upset, threatened, told them to leave. They wouldn't leave. So he grabbed his bat and he was about to, beat them with the bat. But he had a heart attack. Okay. And I mean, he had a major heart attack. So of course we had to get Lester Hardy to the hospital. So Bird is in the hospital with Lester Hardy, and then Lim comes in. So y'all know Bird and Lim, they're they're not together right now. She kicked him out. And so she was like, what are you doing here? Just rude, and been treating Lim like he's not a part of the family. I get throwing him out. And I get you even being frustrated with him. But the way everybody, except for Kenny, shout out to Kenny, because Kenny had been pissing me off, but Kenny ain't pissed me off this episode. But he still treat Lim like family. The sisters 3, no. They want to treat Lim like he's just a nobody. And that's not okay, because that's Jeremiah's father. And I feel like Lim should still be respected as who he is. Y'all taking on y'all sister's beef. Not okay. Max always, she try to have heart for people. Okay? I can get with Max. But she didn't bother me this episode. So Terry walks into the office. Walks into the hospital room. What is he doing here? Girl, you don't even want to be here. So him and Terry get into it while Lester Hardy is laying there just looking. Okay? And then Lim was just like, you know what? I'm leaving. And he left. And I felt like, okay, that was best. You don't want to make the environment hostile and, upset Lester Hardy. So Kenny and Max arrived. Child, and the look on Max's face said, I don't want to be here to be with this raggedy ass old man, and I hope he croak and go see the Lord. Or better yet, us take a slow fall to hell. Okay? That's what Max was getting. So the doctor comes in. Doctor lets him know he suffered a major heart attack, and they also find out that his ass didn't have cancer. Okay, that he was lying the whole time. So of course everybody's pissed, and Max is extremely pissed with Lester Hardy, and so they fussing at him in the office. Keep saying office. They were fussing at him in the hospital room, and they just left. Only person that stayed, I think, was Terry and Bird. So the next day, Bird is in the shop getting her hair done, and a man walked in named Drew. And he was really checking Bird out because he thought she was beautiful, and so he decided he wanted to shoot his shot. And he was like, well, can I take you out to dinner? And she was like, no. And then she changed her mind. She decided, okay, we can go out to dinner. So we see Lim. He goes to visit Lester Hardy after the family left. Well, Lester added him as a next of kin, I guess not to call them, but to call Lim if anything happens. And so Lim was like, why did you select me? What is it that you want? What are you wanting from me? So Lester wants Lim to run a store until he gets better. And he feels like, well, since you on the outs with the family, I feel like you can have my back. Well, of course, Lim gonna do what's best for his family. And even though he's not in good with the Josephs like before, he decided to take Lester up on an offer, and then have a conversation with the sisters. That way, they can go through, they can talk to him instead of having to deal with Lester Hardy, but still be able to be about the family without Lester knowing. So I wasn't mad at Lim. So anyway, Bird goes on her date with Drew. They get to know each other, and it wasn't much. But then we get over to Damon's house. So his dad comes over pissed, and he was like, he told you knew your brother was dropped out of school. Got kicked out of school. And Damon was like, I didn't know. Well, of course, his dad, played by Uncle Phil, the real Uncle Phil. I forgot his name. James Avery, played by James Avery. They had a lot of people we are starting to see a lot of A-listers and like big actors and actresses in these episodes now. So his dad is pissed, and he blames Damon because he felt like Damon knew what was going on with his brother. Damon didn't know because his brother didn't tell him. And so of course his dad don't believe him. And y'all know their dad is very pushy, and his dad want them to have the life that he have, and not so they can eventually take over the law office that he has. And I thought their dad was a judge now. I think he's a judge, but he want them to have this life that he have, which is so unfair. Anyway, we get back to Bird's date with Drew, and we found out he was born and raised in LA. He has an MBA, and he works as management consultant downtown. We also found out that his dad passed away 2 years ago. So, him and Bird have some commonalities or whatever. Bird, he asked Bird about going on a second date. She hesitates, but then she actually obliged. She was like, okay, I'll go on a date with you. And Bird only enjoy him because he's opposite of her husband. So in the next scene, Damon's brother tells him that he got into a fight at the bar outside of campus, and that's what got him kicked out of school. But he said that the aggressor was, that person was the one who started it. It was the aggressor. And so Damon was like, why would you do that? And, it started to sound like his dad. And then Damon had to kind of reel it in a little bit and be his brother. So I wasn't mad at that. Anyway, Lim goes to visit the baby. He goes to the house and visit the baby. He tells Bird that he want to talk to her, but she doesn't want to talk because immediately she's thinking that he want to talk about getting back together. And I tell you, she aggravated me because she made everything about her and their relationship. You can't see past what's going on. What did they say? You can't see the forest for the trees. Like, you are so up your own ass that you don't see what's in front of you and how everybody can benefit. So we're about to get to that right now. So Lim goes to Kenny. He goes to the job, go visit Kenny, and he tells him what Lester Hardy wanted, and how Lester Hardy wanted Lim to run a store. Kenny was like, well, have you talked to the Sisters 3? Okay. If you Sisters 3 come from Charm. Okay, I like Charm. That's my favorite show. Anyway, this ain't about Charm. So Lim says he can run a store and the family won't have to fight Lester about the store. So Lim has kept the family in mind. Like, I'm gonna give Lester Hardy whatever he wants, but mainly this needs to benefit my family more, and not just him, Bird, and Jeremiah, but the Joseph family in whole. So Kenny takes this moment to give him a good advice on how to work the sisters. He was like, listen, when you talk to Bird, tell her it's about Jeremiah and how this can benefit Jeremiah's future. When you talk to Terry, tell Terry how much revenue gonna come in with me being in the store full time. He was like, well, what about Max? Kenny was like, Max was easygoing, and she is. So he was like, don't really worry about Max. She easygoing. It is what it is. So Max and Bird had a conversation in the next scene. She asked her, well, why didn't you tell me you was going on a date? And Bird was like, because I didn't want you to be like family this and family that. She didn't want to hear all of that. But she did tell Terry. And so Terry was cool with it because, of course, Terry doesn't want Bird with Lim because Terry can't see past her dad. And Lim reminds her every bit of her dad. Except for she couldn't voice her opinion with Big Mama, but with her sister, she's going to voice her opinion. I'm like, girl, whatever. Anyway, I get it though. So she tells Max that the guy Drew is everything Lim isn't. And I was like, Bird, don't piss me off, because you knew how Lim was prior to meeting him. You knew he was a thug ass nigga. You knew he was a street ass nigga. But guess what you did? You let him you down. I'm just saying, you let him you down, and now we're here, and you let him into marriage. Girl, get out of my face. And he reminds you of your daddy, who is a shithead. Okay? So Damon is in the bed with Terry, talking about his brother and how worried he is about his brother. And Terry was like, listen, just basically, I didn't get much from this scene, but Terry just letting Damon know, like, hey, you just have to allow your brother to figure it out. Terry, you're always saying things that you don't take advice for. You do not allow your family to figure their shit out because you're always jumping in everybody's shit, acting like you're the smarter sister, the better sister. Now, I did take up for her when it came to Max. But what I'm saying is you giving all of this good advice to Damon, but you don't take your own advice. You don't let everybody figure it out because you think you know damn better. Okay? So, Lem comes over because they're having dinner. He comes over, immediately Bird and Terry is pissed. They're pissed. Max chilling. Max is cool with it. You know, she handed him a plate, was like, sit down so we can feed you. Like, Max be ready to feed everybody, but Max has more of a heart for people who, even though she gets mad at certain people, she still have a heart for people, especially Lem. And so he tells them the conversation that he had between him and Lester, and how Lester Hardy wants him to run J&H. Terry and Bird get pissed off. They get pissed off immediately again. And now Bird was making it about their separation. And again, Terry's still pissed off at her father to see what the bigger picture is. You're still pissed off. You're pissed off. You're more pissed off at Lem than Bird is, because you don't want to see her with Lem again, because he reminds you of y'all raggedy ass daddy. Okay? So Lem was like, listen, Lester already gave me power of attorney, medical power of attorney, so obviously he was in his right mind when he did all of these things and signed all of these things over to me. Terry always have to use that raggedy ass law degree to get what she want. Well, I'm gonna file paperwork. Girl, shut up. Okay? He was like, I don't give a damn what he didn't say this, but I'm saying this on Lem's behalf. Bitch, I don't give a damn what you file it, but just meet me at the store bright and early tomorrow so we can get our things. Okay? Shout out to Lem. Okay? So the next morning is bright bushy tail. He ain't got all this hair, this air on his chest. He ain't pissy and mad and fussing and bitching. Okay, he happy because he's actually doing something that he doesn't have to look over his shoulder. It's helping his family, and it doesn't involve his cousins. It's not anything illegal. And he's just making really making an honest living, being a business owner, and he's very happy. And I just had to point that out. So anyway, Max goes into the store and was like, oh, I need to do this. He was like, I did that. So it was like, oh, well, did you do this? He was like, I already done that. And she was like, well, did you do this? He was like, I've done everything. He said, if y'all would have took the time out to actually listen to me, you would have known that I worked in a grocery store when I was 16 years old. But I kept getting into trouble. And so that's why I stopped working at the grocery store. But this is why I have ideas. This is why I'm good at these things. He was great at it. And so Max was like, well, are you gonna get in trouble now? Like, are you gonna, we worry about you and and we don't want you to get in trouble. And Lem was like, listen, I got this. Okay, I'm not going to get in trouble because I said I'm not going to get in trouble. I control what happens in my life. Okay, so then in the next scene, we get to Damon's dad. He comes over to apologize to Damon for accusing him of knowing things that he really did not know about and not believing him. So now he wants Damon to talk to Anthony, which is Damon's brother's name. He he wants Damon to talk to Anthony about enrolling back and getting back in school. And so Damon was like, you need to talk to him and find out what happened before you want to push him back in school. And he was like, well, where would I start? How would the conversation begin? Which shows me that their dad knows nothing. He's not a great father. He's just always been able to be a great provider and show up as a man who makes great money and have all of these connections. So, yeah. So Bird is on her way to her date with Drew, and because she asked, this was the second date, she asked him to meet her at the shop. So he comes to the shop, and she was just like, you know what, we just need to sit down and talk. And she realized that she couldn't go on a date because it wasn't fair. Her reasoning for going on a date with this man wasn't fair to Drew, and it wasn't fair to her. And she decided to cancel and, just leave him alone altogether because she didn't want to start anything. And she was still in the middle of this with your husband. Okay. So the next day, the guy from the Department of Agriculture goes into the store so Lim can sign paperwork so people with food stamps can come in and shop in the store, which is always a great idea. Always a great idea. Of course, Terry's in there. We don't accept food stamps in the store. When I tell you Terry is so out of touch with reality and what the real reality is and where that store is located, and that most of the people in the neighborhood are on food stamps. And so Lim had to tell her that most people here are on stamps. And so she was like, well, we're not going to do that. It was like, bitch, okay, hey, bitch, I am part owner, and so I'm going to do what I need to do on my end. But I tell you, I was not mad at Lim. Okay, because this was the first time Lim became the man. Okay, this is what you do. This is how you do it. Not all the lies and the garbage. It is funny when he connect with his family. It's in a bad way, but you're here with the Josephs and things are really happening. I don't know. So he tells her, listen, you are losing at least $2K in funds just not accepting food stamps on its own. So of course, she feels away because this is, and it's like, Terry, you won't even see what's beneficial because you're so pissed off at this man right here. And you won't, that's why things are happening medically, like those panic attacks. I remember, I don't know what season, but I know she was having a lot of panic attacks. You're stressed out, you're mad because you don't know how to let go of the reins. You want to be the one that everybody needs. I don't know who's the biggest martyr between you and Maxine. You and Maxine are the biggest martyrs, and that is where Big Mama went wrong with the both of y'all. Like, y'all have to do this. No, you don't have to do that. You can let the shit go. Let him do it. So anyway, they called Lim over. Everybody meets at Max's house to call Lim over. Lim, they was like, have a seat. Lim said, I don't want to sit down. What do y'all want? And it was like, because Lim is defensive right now because y'all been bitching about him having a store, being in a store, trying to like backdoor him, and y'all not even seeing the fact that he is not into any, he not doing stupid shit. He really trying to help y'all in this damn store. They realized, because the sisters was in a store with him trying to rotate and help out, but they realized they don't even have the capacity for that. Not even Bird. They have their own stuff, their own jobs, their own business, their own thing. They don't have time. Lim is the only person. He's the only trusted family member that can help y'all with this. So he was defensive, and Ken was like, you need to calm down. Because again, I don't know what's on the other side of this conversation. Y'all hoes might piss me off. So I'ma stand up and be in defense. So they asked him, if he can run a store full time, just him, or whatever because we don't have nobody. So Lynn was like, well, I need to say something. He was like, because y'all gave me a hard time last week, and I wasn't mad at him for standing up for himself. And he was like, so because y'all don't have anybody, y'all need me now. He was like, it's all good, though. I'm going to run the store, and the only thing that I request is that you don't throw my past in my face, and I run the store how I want to run the store. And they couldn't do nothing but respect it. Of course, Terry tried to give him a hard time. Hey, bitch, don't piss me off. So, she was pissing me off a little bit. Like, don't do that. Okay? Not cool. So, you know, they hug him except for Terry. You know, she's still mad. Bird goes up to Lim and said, well, don't get any wrong ideas because it doesn't change anything between us. Bird, shut your ass up. Okay, she was pissing me off because, again, you're still making this about you. And so he tells her, listen, you need to figure your shit out. I don't see myself with any other woman, but I don't know how long we're going to go through this. And he leaves. And this is where the episode ended because I wasn't mad at it. Okay? Yeah, don't piss me off. Okay? After this episode, you guys will see episode 15 right behind it. I am caught up with this show. Okay? This is your girl, Kiwan, reminding you to keep showing up, keep growing, stay true to yourself, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.